So what is the deal with animal reactions when you start to spiritually awaken? This is something that I have experienced massively with animal symbology and animal signs as I went through my spiritual awakening. And this is happening for my clients all the time. Hi, my name is Jillian. I'm a psychic healer and spiritual teacher, and we're going to be talking about the ways that when we spiritually awaken, when we awaken to our intuition, to our spiritual gifts, we are raising our frequency, we are shifting our energy, we are healing from the things that are keeping us in a low vibration. And one of the biggest things that you might notice as you go through this process is the way that animals react to you, or the way that animals start to show up in your life in true form or in symbology. So I'm just going to talk about some of the reasons that this happens and why we have such a special bond with the animal kingdom. Now, I am a huge animal lover. I always have been and I always will be. I am obsessed with animals. Like, I would have a trillion billion if I could. I mean, I kind of nearly do already, but that's another story. But as we spiritually awaken, as I said, we're raising our frequency, we're raising our vibration, and animals by nature are intuitive. They have to go through the world using their own intuitive senses, their instincts. And because they are so intuitive, they can pick up on the subtle vibrations and the subtle energy shifts. They can see and hear things on different energy frequencies and different energy bands that we just cannot. Like, how many times have you seen your dog or your cat staring into a corner of the room and you're like, well, what's there? What's going on? And you can't see anything. But our animals can see through the veil. They can see things through different dimensions that we just don't have that extra sensory ability to see. And it is because they are so instinctual. It is because they do rely on intuition to be an animal, to hunt. That is their natural state. And honestly, it is our natural state too. As children, as babies, we are also extremely intuitive. And we only operate through our senses. We're not operating through logic. We are operating through instincts, through our body, through our needs, through our senses, through our taste, our touch, our hunger, our sleep, our needing to poo. And this is very similar to animals. And it's actually one of the reasons that you might start to see, not only animals being drawn to you as you go through your own spiritual awakening. You might see cats just coming up to you on the street and just rolling over and having their belly up for you to pat it. You might feel like dogs come to you all the time. If you have your own pets and you're starting to go through this awakening, you might just start to see them like stare at you differently or look at you more lovingly or just want to be around your energy more. Like, they can see and feel the things, as I said, that we can't do. And as I said, this is the same for like children and babies. So again, if you start to see like kids staring at you or smiling at you like you're a Disney bloody princess or prince, gender specific, no gender specific, we're gender neutral here, then this is the reason why. Because again, there's a similar essence to animals and children that is because of their natural intuitive nature. And because you are ultimately raising your frequency, raising your vibration, like, you do become a beacon for things that can see and feel that, because it feels good. Just think like, you walk into an environment where people have been arguing or there's been conflict there and everyone's in a mood. You can instinctively feel that, right? Because there's heavy energy, there's conflict, there's anger. Like, those are all heavy energies. So imagine when you're starting to clear that out and you're starting to work with your spiritual gifts and you're starting to heal your old traumas so that you can connect to higher levels of consciousness and walk your true authentic path. You become a beacon. You feel great. You look great. You are full of light, and animals can sense and can pick that up, and they're extremely drawn to it. As I said, it's like a moth to a flame. And that's not the only reason. Like, animals throughout history and time and spirituality have been messengers, have been confidants, have been guides for us and companions for us, and the universe and our guides will use them just as that. They'll use them for messengers. So you will potentially start to see all these different or particular animals showing up in your world as I said, real animals crossing your path when you need it as a sign or a synchronicity or a particular message. Because again, every animal can have a particular message or symbology, and spirit will usually use them in a specific way that makes sense to you. And of course, like, you can always Google them, of course, because you can always Google animal symbology or animal spirit guides. But it's really helpful for you to, if you see a particular animal cross your path at a particular time, to really stop and reflect, one, what you're thinking, two, what you're feeling at that point, and what the particular meaning for you for this animal means. Because how I interpret a specific animal could be very, very different to how someone else feels about an animal. And this is, again, part of the unique patterning of how spirit and the universe communicate with us through animals and through symbology. So, obviously we have certain animals that, again, through time and history, have symbolized certain things. So for like the owl traditionally will represent wisdom. So this could be a message for you on your path that you are gaining more wisdom, or that you are supposed to study something to collect more knowledge and wisdom. If a bear shows up in your world, then that could represent strength. That could represent family. And again, it's all your interpretation. So this is why I invite you to, next time you see an animal that just shows up in your path that maybe is unexpected, then that more than likely is a sign and a synchronicity or a message from spirit that you have to interpret and you have to learn, because there's something there for you. They're trying to show you that you are on the right path, or there is a message here for you. And this is very apt as well. Like, a lot of people that I've realized have certain affiliations to certain animals. And this is very true if you have any tattoos, like me. You may not realize, but some of your animal spirit guides could be the animals that you're very drawn to, or the animals that you actually get tattooed on your body. I mean, talk about a commitment there. Talk about a deep resonance and feeling with certain traits that are represented in an animal enough to get them tattooed on your body. And I have quite a few. I have an owl, an eagle, a snake, a dragon, a unicorn. I think that's it. So they're all very mystical animals, because obviously the nature of the work that I do, very mystical. And I would love to get a cat. I would love to get a Sphinx cat, because I obviously do love cats, and I love horses as well. So yes, they are all very symbolic for me and my own personal spiritual journey. But yeah, bears, wolves, foxes, lizards, iguanas. I mean, the world is your oyster in terms of how and what resonates with you and why that is so. Oh, I also have a panther. Oh my God, how could I forget? That was like my second tattoo. My panther. And that's also one of my spirit guides, and that means a certain thing to me, and it was very relevant at that time period of my life for what it actually meant to me. So yes, that is a big thing of animals are crossing your path, or if you see, particular animals, just keep track of if there's any particular animals or signs or the ways that they're showing up consistently, because again, that could also mean something. So it's all about your own interpretation. And as I said, the more that you start to work with your spiritual gifts, the more that you start to awaken to your own intuition, like, the universe is going to be showing you and bombarding you with all these signs and synchronicities, so that you can see that you are connected to something bigger, so that you can understand that you are here for something more. And this is also like part of your schooling, to firstly recognize these as signs, but secondly to go that step further and practice your intuitive abilities by asking, well, what these mean, or recognizing what these symbols actually mean and what are the messages for you, because they're always here in a way to guide you, in a way to support you in your own personal journey and your own personal path, no matter what you're going through. And for me, like I said, I have had so many huge experiences with animals, like seriously profound. At one point, I swear I thought I was like Snow White dancing through the forest, because I was like, I can talk to the animals. I'm like, I'm Mr. like Dr. Dolittle. Like, it's so cool when you start to have all of these experiences, and they're honestly so beautiful and so profound. I personally have had a lot of experience with birds. I love birds. It's crazy because I have cats and I also love cats. But I've definitely experienced, for example, past lives where I had cats and I had birds. And who knew that they could live coherently and happily together without being hunted? They could. So I've had some really profound experiences with crows and magpies specifically, also eagles. But I remember years and years ago, I was out in nature. I was doing like a bushwalk with one of my very spiritual sisters, and we were just chilling by the waterside. And I've never seen anything like this. It was a crow that came and just literally sat next to us, but it wasn't like a normal crow. It was, think of like the size of a rooster, like its feet, everything. It was like a chief daddy crow. I can only explain it like that. It was huge and regal, and again, I was like, I have never seen something so huge and majestic like this crow was. It was not like part of like what normal crow size is. It was, me and her were just kind of sitting there in awe. And because again, my spiritual gifts and my intuitive gifts, my psychic gifts had come online at that point, it's like this bird, and I know this is going to sound crazy to a lot of people, but hey, it is what it is. This is what happens when you start to work with your spiritual gifts. You probably are gonna start every sentence with, "This is probably gonna sound crazy," but it is what it is. This is what happens. It felt like this bird was telepathically giving me downloads of wisdom and esoteric insight. I can't explain. It was so profound. It was so many years ago, I can't remember exactly what was said, but I remember explaining and translating what was coming through to my friend at the time. And yeah, I'll never forget it. It was just extraordinary. When I've also had other experiences where, yeah, just magpies and crows have just flocked to me like they're my friends and just like hanging out. It's in just such a weird way. I've also had a really beautiful experience when I went for another hike, always out in nature because that's where the animals are. When I went for a hike and I found this beautiful, and it's going to sound weird, but it was a beautiful graveyard. I'm really sounding so witchy now, but yeah, anyway. But it was this beautiful graveyard that I don't think anybody had been buried there since like the 1920s, and it was on the cliff of La Perouse. If anyone lives in Sydney, it's just this beautiful, and it's sparse, so there's not a lot of grave sites there, and it overlooks the ocean, and I just so happened to find it as I was doing this nature walk. So before, and again, thinking about Australia, there's a lot of sacred land. There is a lot of land that has been traditionally worked by the native indigenous people here. So it's something that a lot of Australians will give thanks to the land and to the custodians of the land. That is something that I do within my spiritual practice and that I've seen other people do here as well. It's just to give thanks for the land. And I'm very connected to the land. I'm very, very connected to the Australian land, even though I'm not originally from here. I was very pulled towards this land, and I've had past lifetimes as an indigenous person here. So again, I think there's just that connection there. And as I was entering this graveyard, it wasn't at night, guys. It was like a beautiful sunny day. So, picture the scene. It wasn't creepy or scary. As I was walking through, I kind of stopped and I asked for permission from the land and from the spirits to enter. Because again, this is just sacred land. Anybody that's buried or anyone that works with spirit in any kind of way, you'll get what I'm saying. And then I kind of stopped, and it was by the first headstone. And right on this headstone, literally like next to my head, was this magpie had landed. And it started singing this song. And I didn't realize, I haven't, honestly, by that point, I'd never heard a magpie song. And it was so beautiful. It was like it was serenading me. And it just kept on singing and singing to me. And I just started crying. It was so beautifully emotional that, I mean, I cry everything, right? I'm a sensitive person. But it was just so beautiful. And I just knew that I was being given a gift, and I was being accepted into coming into this sacred land. And then every time I'd go back, I would see these two magpies who were obviously a couple, and we would just kind of spend some time together and yeah, just give my thanks. And yeah, it was weird. We just had this instant bond. And as I said, every time that I've gone back there and I've seen them, they've come over to me and they've been very friendly, and they've just wanted to be in my presence and in my time. And it's just, yeah, it's like things like that are not necessarily the norm. The norm of magpies in Australia are them swooping your head. But that's not been the case for me. But yeah, it's not just birds that I've had amazing experiences with. I actually swam with manta rays in Hawaii a few years ago at night. And again, this was just such a beautifully spiritually profound experience, because there was divers on the bottom of the ocean floor, and they had lights that were uplighting into the ocean upwards. And then there was a few of us that were essentially with not scuba gear, but snorkeling gear, and we were holding on to a surfboard that was just floating in the ocean with our faces down. And the manta rays were coming up, and there was me and this same particular friend. We would always have these spiritual experiences together because we're just aligned in that way. And there was other people that were around the surfboard as well. But this manta ray literally only came up to me, and I think my body is flat, right? It's flat on the ocean kind of top with my belly down. And this manta ray would come up to me and literally was flipping, like touching me with its belly as it kept on going under and then flipping back. So we're belly to belly, and it kept on like doing this on me, and it was staring into my eyes. And I obviously had like little like goggles on at that point. I'm crying in my goggles, like can't see, but it was staring into my soul. And like, guys, if you're gonna get this, if you've had these experiences with animals, if you've had this profound spiritual experience, you are gonna completely get what I'm saying here. But yeah, these are the things that can happen, and it's amazing. So if you are going through this awakening and you're seeing all these beautiful, amazing signs and synchronicities with animals, then just know that you're not alone. And this is honestly part of the awakening process. And it means that your intuitive gifts are coming online, and your energy and your vibration is heightening. It's you're connecting with higher vibrations of frequency and energy, and it's a really beautiful experience. So my advice to you, if you are seeing a lot of these animal signs, and also dreams, how did I forget the dreams? You also might be seeing a lot of animals in your dreams. So like, there's something to do is, firstly, whenever this happens in dreams or in person, is just to acknowledge the sign, the synchronicity, the message from spirit, from universe. Like, send gratitude that you are being given these beautiful signs through these beautiful animal messengers, and give acknowledgement of the fact that you are being seen and recognized for awakening to like your potential, because that's really what it is. So first, acknowledge. First, send gratitude. Secondly, start to notice like the patterns that you're seeing. Like, is it a particular place or time, or particular animal, or a particular feeling that you're experiencing at these when you're getting these signs and synchronicities, because often there's going to be patterns in the way that spirit sends their messages to you, or how you receive psychic or intuitive information. So yeah, just start to take note, and pattern anything that is repeating, because again, that might be significant in some way down the line, or even in the present. And then just ask for what this means. If you're unsure about what this sign means, just ask spirit to show you either another sign or make it very clear, and just wait to hear or feel or see what message you get. Because it's like having that time of stillness, you can receive so many messages, because again, you're already starting to awaken, you're already in tune, you're already accessing your psychic or intuitive gifts. So it's now just about noticing how you're receiving that extra validation, that extra confirmation, and how you're able to interpret and read that energy. Like, are you hearing words? Do you just have a knowing? Or do you have a particular feeling? Are you seeing more symbols or more images in your mind's eye? These are all the different ways that you can experience or understand what your psychic senses are. And if you want to understand what your dominant psychic sense is, then I actually have a free quiz. All the details will be below in the show notes that you can do and find out what your dominant psychic sense is, because we all have intuitive senses, and we are here to basically master all of them. But generally we start off with like one or two main ones, and it's all just about developing them. And as your intuitive gifts start to grow, all of them will start to awaken at different points. But if you want to check out what your dominant psychic senses, then just do my free quiz and you will find out. And I also give you some really good free tips and tools to be able to work with that psychic sense if it's already awakened and present in your life. If you want to go a bit deeper, if you want to really hone your intuitive abilities and your psychic senses, if you want to start getting clear messages and learning to channel your guides, and I'm going to go through so many different guides: animal guides, galactic guides, goddesses, gods, angels, archangels. You're going to start meeting them all, guys. If you want to clear all of your past life traumas, your intuitive blocks, stuff from childhood, and understand what is actually blocking your frequency and blocking your connection with your own intuition, then I go through all of this, guys. I go through all of this in my program, the Rebel Psychic School. It's a 3-month program. It's half self-paced, half live, coaching and healing with me, and in a group setting, and it's going to be friggin' powerful, and I'm so excited to share this with you guys. So if you are curious, if you want to learn more, and also the great thing is, like, I am very, like, yes, I'll talk about the magical stuff, and I'll give you the tools and techniques to connect and protect yourself, and channel the most amazing guidance and wisdom from the most amazing and cool energies and places. But I do it in a way where you can actually use that information for your own path, for your own purpose, to gain prosperity, to manifest what you want, to have better relationships. The work that I do is, although it's extremely amazing and beautiful and magical, it's actually very practical. And that's why it is called the Rebel Psychic School, Practical Magic for the Rebel Soul. And this is for the person that wants to live authentically, that is not afraid to go against the status quo, that is extremely empathic, that already knows they're spiritual and already knows at a deep level that they're here for more, and the way that they're going to truly manifest and live the life that they're here for, and live their soul purpose, because you have one, you really have one, guys. You have a purpose, you have a soul mission, is to activate your gifts, because following your intuition is the only way that you can truly find and trust and have confidence and self-belief, and start to see the signs and synchronicities, start to work and co-create with the universe to create that life that you want. And this is how I managed to leave my 7-figure business that I owned for 7.5 years. That's how I took that leap of faith and started my spiritual business. That's how I managed to move to the other side of the world to open my other business without ever having a business, and growing that to 7 figures. So your gifts are the secret sauce to your highest potential. So if you're interested, again, all the details are below. I do have a special offer on only until the 31st of October, which is celebrating my birthday, where you get one-on-one sessions with me to supercharge your growth, as well as a huge massive discount. That's only available until the 31st of October. And then I'm going to be going into the proper launch, and obviously the price is going to go up. So if you're interested and you have any questions, then just DM me on Instagram, or you can just check out the link that I'm going to post below. And I hope you've enjoyed this, guys, because I mean, I love animals, you love animals. Hopefully you are seeing all these beautiful signs and synchronicities with the animals. And if you are, I want to know, like, please tell me your stories. I love hearing about them. And if there's any messages that you want help to decipher, then again, just message me and ask, and I will tune in and see what is there for you. But hopefully you are going to have the best day or best night wherever you are, and I will see you on the flip side, guys.